we're going to talk about relevant cost. We've got all these costs going on, and as we make new decisions, we want to make sure that we focus on the costs that would truly be different between option A and option B, and not get confused by a lot of information that is not really relevant. So let me look at a couple of examples. Let's look at this the tan problem here first. You just bought a car for $20,000 and you're planning to drive or fly to New York this summer. If you drive, you'll leave Monday morning and arrive Tuesday evening. And the cost of driving is estimated to be $300 for gas, $40 for food for 2 days, and $120 for one night in a hotel. The cost of flying is going to be $400. And the flight leaves Tuesday morning, will arrive Tuesday evening. You'll have a layover for lunch, and you're estimated you'll spend $15 there. So if the finances are the only consideration, you're not concerned about convenience or anything else, which travel plan would you choose? Well, I tried to trying to portray some things that have an obvious difference here to illustrate the point. We bought the car. Whether we drive to New York or fly, the $20,000 that we bought on the car, we call this a sunk cost. So, like, you might be motivated to say, well, I've already bought the car, so I got to take advantage of it. Well, maybe that is what you want to do, but whether you fly or drive, you still bought the car. That's not a relevant cost. It's already been spent, and we call that a sunk cost. So what's truly relevant is what's going to be the difference between one factor and another. So the cost of travel, the gas versus the flying, that's $100 difference. The cost of food, a $25 difference. The cost of lodging. So the $20,000, I think I would eliminate that from the consideration. And so we're left with the fact that driving would cost $45 more than flying. So what would we do? Well, I guess we can determine if that cost would make a difference. But again, the point is to zero in on those costs that are truly different between the options under consideration. And there are various types of decisions where zeroing in on the relevant cost could be of significance. Let me show you another one down here now in the blue. It says our production costs currently run $100,000 a month of fixed overhead plus $16 of material, labor, and variable overhead per unit produced. The demand for the product is 10,000 units per month, and the product sells for $30 per unit. A vendor has approached us about making the product and selling it to us for $20 per unit. So we're trying to decide, should we continue to make the product or should we just buy it from this other vendor? Either way, we're going to sell it for $30. Okay? So this is a make versus buy decision. So again, if we make it, our variable costs are $16 per unit, and our fixed cost per unit, we said the fixed costs are 100,000. We're going to make 10,000 units, so the fixed costs are $10 a unit. So if we're looking at our accounting totals, the assigned cost for each of these units that we make is $26. Well, Here we have a vendor willing to sell it to us for $20. So that looks a lot better to just go ahead and buy it because we'd be saving $6 a unit. However, if we do that, we still have those fixed costs. So fixed costs don't necessarily disappear just because we don't utilize them. So if we look at these two things in total, again, for 10,000 units, our variable cost be 160. Our fixed cost, which again are fixed, 100,000. So we're spending $260 to make the product. Well, if we decide to buy it, all of these variable costs would disappear, and we'd be spending $20 a unit or $200 total on top of the fixed cost. So in total, it looks like we'd be spending an extra $40,000 if we buy the product, even though in the beginning it looked like it was a lot cheaper to purchase the unit from a vendor. The reason for that, again, is because we have what are called inescapable fixed costs. Fixed costs that are going to be there whether or not we take advantage of it. Now, another thing that could enter the mix is if we did buy the product, now we have all this production facility that's freed up. It's available to use for something else. So in the gray down here, I said, would your answer be different if the factory could be used for another product that would bring in a net contribution margin of $80,000? So again, we still have the same cost that we had up here, but now if we buy it, we have this alternative use that would bring in $80,000 of contribution margin. So we had $40,000 of extra cost, but offset that by the revenues that would be coming in. And so in that scenario, it looks like buying from the vendor could be a good thing as long as we carried through and utilize the production facility for this alternative product. So again, a lot of it kind of comes down to common sense and avoid the tendency to just let the numbers be overwhelming and distract us from what truly is going to be different between the options that we're trying to choose between. Okay, so that's an overview for this week.